FooRay and Chamba, the two hosts. If I may, I'm thinking that you chose the best thing. If you like them nerd shows and all of these movies. What up, Chap Chat? This is Chap Chat.
What up, Chipper Chaps? This is Chap Chat episode 167. I am FooRay.
I'm Chamba.
This is Kuro, and we're going to talk about some nerdy stuff today. We've got a decent amount for having just recorded like yesterday or whatever the fuck it was.
2 days ago or something. I don't even remember.
Yeah. So you did watch the first thing on our list, right?
I sure did.
Okay. What did you think of the Super Sons trailer?
They're definitely taking that whole CG thing approach now, which is neat.
Yeah.
I actually think, all right, there's certain scenes that look better than others.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think it's cool.
I think it looks surprisingly good
Yes.
for it being a DC thing, and
Yeah.
I think it might be kind of. I don't want everything to look like this, but it might be the right direction for these DC things to go, because so often they kind of look like bad in the versions that you see on Netflix or whatever when it's just some like random shit they threw together to try and make it look like 2D stuff.
Yeah.
But
This looks fresh.
has its own look. Yeah, it has its own look to it. I don't know if I love the thing where they do the stuttering like animated on twos.
That's the part that I felt off.
Yeah, because it felt like them trying to be like, it's like Spider-Verse,
it's
right?
like-
you guys
no.
like that?
Yeah, don't do it when you have that look. It works for Spider-Verse because of the visual look.
Mm-hmm.
This one,
There's none of that like halftone type stuff.
No. This one needs to be smooth.
Mm-hmm. It even
is.
though it's based on the Jimenez art style, sort of, it does feel distinctly its own. It's a lot warmer and like a lot less line work. They didn't try to like hatch it up or anything, but it does have like a really unique, warm presentation.
I like it a lot, and I'm gonna check it out eventually.
Yeah, it's the first DC animated thing that I've been like, oh, the visuals actually look cool.
That's where I'm at. I was like, because when you sent the link, I'm like, I'd not heard of this.
Right,
So,
me either. I feel like it came out of fucking nowhere.
I'm not even sure who's behind the anime. Like, it's distributed by Warner Brothers because DC and everything. But I'm curious to look into who actually is the animation. Which studio
I'm also
animated
very
this.
curious. This is one that I'll be interested for us to actually talk about when it comes out.
Yeah.
It just said look for it on Blu-ray. It didn't even say like a date. So I don't know if it's already out suddenly or what.
Yeah, again, I'm gonna have to look into it. Like, I wonder if it's gonna be like a VOD. I might even look into it if it's a VOD.
Yeah, if it's already out for that, I think I might check it out over the weekend or something. That'd be fun.
But no, it looks cool. It looks cool. Next thing. You want to go next thing?
Well, I was gonna say I feel like the last one I saw that I actually enjoyed was Azura, not Azura's Wrath. Fucking
That's not DC.
Kingen Ashura.
The CG. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as CG to look like a sort of 2D hybrid thing, that was like the last one I could watch.
Did you watch?
I know that
Spriggan.
Go ahead.
It just drops.
I've not. I really fucking want to. It looks like.
I haven't fully watched it yet. I've watched, I think, the first few minutes of the first episode. Only.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What did you think?
It was cool because I remember back in the original Spriggan was some of the coolest shit. Mm-hmm. The coolest shit. So I don't know if it's gonna look that good, but it's on Netflix. It's sold. I think it's like 4 episodes. Was it 4 or 6, something like that?
Oh, it's only 4.
Yeah,
that's an easier watch.
I think they're like 40 minutes though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I watched just the little trailer for it, and I was like, well, it's got all the shit I love. I love the like cyberpunk action stuff, so it's like, I'm all over this.
It's fully cyberpunk. Yeah. But that dropped, and I think that because I wasn't quite sure about the CG on that one, and like it looked hand drawn at times, but then it also looked CG at times. So I was a little confused. I'm like, I wonder if they split between.
I am curious about that too, because it only seemed really prominent to me in the action stuff. Just something about the way they moved. I'm like, oh, obviously, but it looks like maybe the backgrounds are at least like rendered in a way where they look a little bit more painty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really really curious about that one. And what's the other one they got coming out? Tekken is doing that as well. But you said that one, the animation looks garbage to you.
There's like this weird cell shade on
Oh,
everyone's
I know,
head.
yeah, the head, the triangle thing.
Like
I
here,
didn't
right
notice
there.
that.
This is a
Yeah.
shadow on everyone.
And I'm assuming that's just something that the concept artist did, and they were
Right.
like, "Looks cool, we're gonna
Yeah,
do that."
we're gonna put it to everything. But they're in the sunlight. Everything.
Now that by itself is the reason you can't get
No,
down
no,
with it, because
I-
I love that.
that's not the reason why I'm not gonna check it out. If it's on Netflix,
Yeah.
it's on Netflix, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll check it out. I'll check most things out on the streaming services if it's available. So there's no way I'm not gonna just randomly avoid it unless it's like.
but you're
super long.
expecting it to be dog shit because of this.
That's weird to me.
It is weird.
It's
It is
weird, but I'm not expecting complete dog shit. But you know what though? If I walk into it expecting horse shit and it's better,
Right,
great.
You can
then-
only go up from there.
exactly, you know? Or it's like, wow, it was exactly as I expected.
Also a possibility.
But as far as
I
like
don't know.
as far as like CG animation that looks
Yeah.
2D, it's out in cinemas for at least for us in Australia in August. The Dragon Ball superhero.
Oh yeah, superhero. That looks great to me, but it's also I feel like a little bit we've been trained, like visually trained
Right.
with like Dragon Ball Fighters and all the other times they've attempted
Bro,
this.
I don't know if you'd seen. I don't know if I'd linked it to you, but they uploaded the first 2 minutes, which is basically
you
like,
gotta link me.
oh, well, we can't talk about it yet. We'll probably talk about it next, but because it's like a recap, essentially from Dragon Ball to now.
Oh, and
because
they redo it in that style.
I was like, my goodness. I'm like, give me Dragon Ball. Just
Bro, we've been saying it should be that for fucking ever.
There's a shot there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'd never seen Dragon Ball like this before.
You're making me.
I'll have to show it to you because it's about. The reason why it was a callback is because it's about the Red Ribbon Army.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what this movie is
So
about.
is it mostly doing Dragon Ball type stuff?
Well, because you know that the Red Ribbon Army disappeared essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you the first 2 minutes if I can find it again. But I was like, oh my goodness. Because it's not just like, we're just going to take the scenes that we've done and show it. No, we're going to reanimate these shots. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, don't do this. I'm like, if the film is this good, I am hyped for it. I want to watch it in the cinemas. I'm watching it in the cinemas.
Everything I've seen so far, I'm like, I actually really want to see this.
I'm watching it in the
Dragon Ball
cinemas.
superhero thing.
I got a mate.
Dragon Ball Superhero.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's for Dragon Ball Super, but it's called Superhero. I got a mate who watched like a bootleg, a cam.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He watched a cam, and I was like, so you're going to watch it in the cinema? He was like, absolutely.
That's good to hear.
Absolutely. And I was like, all right. He's like, yeah. Like, the cam got me more hype. It didn't ruin anything. Like, I'm so excited to see. I was like, all right. I mean, I'm
Do you know when that one's supposed to drop?
August. I heard August. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like, because it's going through, because Crunchyroll said that they were like, yeah, we're going to have it in cinemas in the US and Australia. And I'm like, good. I want to watch that. August.
Yeah, that's hype.
Yeah.
That's hype. All right.
Speaking of theatrical releases,
Yeah. Poor Lightyear. Lightyear is underperforming in the box office. Apparently, they spent $200 million on its budget, and it's made about $100 million worldwide, which $100 million would be pretty good weekend if it was just here in the States. But that is all of it so far.
worldwide
which
is
is not
not
great.
it's not what you're after.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know. Some people are saying that it's because it was like review bombed and stuff because of the co-lead is a lesbian or something, and I don't know. I highly doubt that that was enough to make it not work. But I've also seen people be like, it's maybe not a great kids movie, but I haven't seen it yet, so I don't really know.
I want to
really know
watch
how to
it.
judge.
I don't know if I want to cinema it though. Do you know what I mean?
All right, I can't really. I can't really say that I'm like so hyped that I want to see it in the theater. Although before it was out, I was hearing good things. I was hearing that it was like a really good Pixar flick.
And I'm sure it is as far as Pixar movie goes.
Right.
I think
And Pixar's usually the gold standard as far as animation is concerned.
times are changing, man.
They really are. They got a lot more competition than they've ever had in that space.
Like you got streaming services pulling stuff out just for the sake of I don't know if you saw that, like those little sneak trailers of Sea Beast on Netflix.
Everything I've seen from that, the cinematography and colors look like top tier.
Yeah,
So
it's because they're like ex Disney guys, you know what I mean?
Right.
So animators know how to animate that anime. I mean, look at Spider-Verse. That thing is beautiful and unique in itself.
Yeah.
All the shorts from like Love, Death, Robots. Any of them could be like, oh yeah, if they gave us the budget, we could probably do a full feature.
And I'm sure those shorts they do for that are already expensive. And they're like, what, 12 minutes a piece or something like that?
Yeah.
So I am curious where they get money from on some of these things. But
I am too.
just as far as what the visuals look like, they're just so above and beyond. Like I was trying to explain how hard it is for me to go back and watch like Toy Story, the first one.
It's a struggle.
Just some of the animation and models and stuff are so bad, and it works only because these are toys for the most part. It's just when you get to the human characters here, you're like, ugh, we weren't ready for that.
The toys part is where it works the best.
Right.
It's when you see the humans and then like they open their mouths and everything is lit the same in the mouth. You're like,
yeah.
Oh. And then you look at like a still shot from Lightyear and you're like, we've come a long way.
Yeah, that's on these characters alone.
Yeah.
Like, wow, the lighting alone. You're like, I was thinking about scenes from movies where just the lighting and stuff has like blown my mind. And always the one that pops into my brain. It's such a random nothing scene, but it's from Zootopia. And it's one of the scenes, I think, of the bunny cop is having like a flashback of her in basic training or something. And she's like standing in the rain. And it just looks photo fucking real to me.
Except it's a rabbit.
Yeah. And you're like, what the hell? How has it progressed so far in my brain short amount of time, but it's been in my entire life basically.
That film is fantastic.
Toy Story 1 came out 94 or something. When did Toy Story 1 come out?
I think something like that. But Zootopia,
that's hot off the heels of Ninja Turtles. And suddenly now we're in CG films.
It's a wild.
I can't wait to see that, dude. When are those first looks coming out?
We'll be talking about it when we do. Oh, Comic-Con, bro. Next month.
I was just going to say, do you think we'll see one by Comic-Con?
I don't see why they wouldn't.
I did hear Flash pulled out of Comic-Con. They're not going to show Flash at the DC event, which is not incredibly surprising. And something else. I guess Marvel was something. I don't know.
They don't need to at this point. Marvel don't. They've got the Disney stuff.
They got their own D23. Yeah.
And their own Marvel thing. So, yeah.
All right.
A few days ago.
And next news.
A few days ago. This happened. The AEW
Forbidden Door
in Japan. Did you watch it yet? No.
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
The only thing I saw was the Orange Cassidy and Osprey thing, but I do want to go back and watch the rest of it. Also, Blood and Guts happened, I guess.
I miss Blood and Guts. Yeah, that was yesterday. I think it was. Yeah. The event was cool.
We've talked about this happening a few times, and for a while, it seemed impossible. And I guess still we've not seen, in a way we haven't, I was going to say we've not seen like them like New Japan cross WWE. However,
that won't.
AEW has so many WWE people.
It's the same. It's that now.
It's the same.
It's that now. I mean, to be fair,
it still feels like Marvel versus Capcom.
It is, because WWE's like, they've removed a lot of wrestlers now. And they just all jump and ship Finding other avenues like where they'll be utilized. I know some people from AEW, like Cody, went back to WWE where he's actually now one of the main guys now.
Which is bananas.
I mean,
and
good for him.
How well it seems to be working for him is bananas to me, because he really, to me, when he left, I liked Cody as far as like Stardust. I actually liked the character he hated.
I'm with you. Stardust was actually great.
Yeah, but he was kind of, mid tier. He was a villain if they had like a celebrity on or something like that. But now he's coming back, and they're selling him as top tier talent. He's in a ongoing like multi-match thing with Seth Rollins. I don't know if you ended up seeing any of the clips of him wrestling with his exploded pec.
I saw that. Yeah, it just looked awful. I was like, he got a weird tattoo, and I'm like, nah, it's just a bruise.
Yeah, just a bruise from nipple to bicep.
Like, hey, it's a look. It's a look.
Yeah, he made it work somehow.
He did.
But it's crazy to see how that's changed. So, but now Forbidden Door happening, they're literally giving us like impossible dream matches. The Offspray versus Orange Cassidy thing to me was like, I thought I'd never get to see that. It just seemed like something, even if they could do it, why would they do it?
I gotta say, the first half was so explosive that I think I spoke to a couple people already, and they felt not underwhelmed by the latter half, but because it was a different, like the pace changed, it shifted, like it became more, it wasn't as crazy intense. It was more like we're just wrestling. I loved the whole show, but I can understand because the first half was definitely like a spectacle. And I thought it was great. It does suck, injuries happen, but the replacements that they got were actually real good. So
yeah, I know that the Daniel Bryan was replaced with Cesaro or Claudio Castagnoli or whatever his name is now.
That's his real name. That's his real name, by the way.
Right. Yeah. And I like him as a wrestler, so I'm cool, and I'm eager to see where he goes with that company.
Dude,
to see if
you need to watch that match. Well, he's part of their stable.
And he was the one who fought Okada?
No. Okada was a 4-way match between Okada, Jay White, Adam Cole.
And Adam Cole got fucked up or something, right?
And Adam Page.
That's the Hangman or
Hangman Page, yeah.
Right. Yeah. But Adam Cole ended up like getting concussed or something, I heard.
If he did, that's news to me.
I heard the match finish was kind of wonky, and it ended up being because he got concussed.
Oh, okay. The match ended. Well, no, the match ended quite good. Like Jay White's a smartass. That's kind of his thing. He's a smart wrestler. Like he allowed them to beat each other up, and then he took that pin. Yeah, because it's not about it's who wins in the pin, and he won, so he retained.
I'll have to check it out.
Dude,
I really
watch the whole
want to
show.
see Jay White in a match. I've still never seen that.
Jay White's really
the
good.
version I saw of Ospreay and Orange Cassidy was like a hypercut, so I don't know what the actual pacing of the match was.
Phenomenal match. That one was phenomenal. There was a lot of great matches. So I was like, this is definitely not the last of it. 100% not the last of it.
Well, that's exciting. Exciting. Also, I guess we can at least mention here. Yeah. We'll show it elsewhere.
No, I'm showing it.
We'll show it right here. That we did our own pre-Forbidden Door poster
2 years ago.
2 years ago, but it never got posted. We were going to come up with some sort of naming or title or something, but now Forbidden Door has happened, so they've made it a bit easier on us. But this will get posted up with our, I don't know how many characters in it, but quite a bit.
Oh, there's a ton.
There's a ton. So here's a little preview of that, but there's a couple of people that we mentioned are in this one. I was so stoked to get to draw Orange Cassidy, and epic capacity.
Yeah. Yeah, you
So
might need
yeah,
like when you upload it, you should probably like you know how there's slides in
yeah.
you should
Do some
probably
close-ups or
yeah, do
whatever.
some close up shots. Just you
Yeah.
know, just to let them see and whatnot. I might do that,
There's
yeah.
even one wrestler I snuck in there that I almost don't want to even mention who it is. Just I want to see if anybody will point him out.
I gonna show like a close up of that one?
I might and just make it look like I'm focusing on someone else
Okay,
and see if anyone
cool.
says anything.
I don't think I squeezed anybody in there, like last minute type stuff, but
Mine was definitely like he wasn't in the layout we did.
okay.
I just added him after the fact.
Wicked.
But yeah, so that one will be posted up on our socials or something here soon.
Yeah,
You
like
guys
this
will get to see
weekend or
that.
something. I don't know.
All right, next up. I don't know if you heard this audio.
I didn't hear the audio.
Okay.
I was told of
So
it.
okay, so Howard Stern recently on his show went to commercial and the mics were left on and
Come on, he's a professional.
they talked over like some like ad music and stuff so you can barely hear what they're even talking about.
Okay.
But Robin, his like sidekick, asked him what he was doing over the summer, if he was working on anything, and he was like, yeah, I told you, I'm going to be gone for doing Doctor Doom. And he said the schedule's going to be crazy. I'm miserable about it. I called up Robert Downey Jr. and got some acting tips. I'm trying to get John's number.
Wait, so he's supposed to be Doctor Doom because that's awful.
He just said, I'm going to do Doctor Doom.
As in they're making a movie.
That
with
doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
mean he's playing him. He's just going to do some project involving Doctor Doom, is what it sounds like.
If that's the case. If he's Doom, I'm just saying, awful.
I know for a while, Fox was doing like a solo Doom thing. But now that Marvel has all that stuff, I don't know if they're like picking and choosing some of what Fox was going to do and being like, oh, we could turn that into something. So I'm not really sure if this is going to be a solo movie or if they might try to do like a Disney Plus type thing. They've already supposedly been dropping little hints about Doom in the background, like supposedly the scene in Moon Knight where he's in the like muffin truck and shit. Supposedly that might have taken place in Latveria, and they show like a castle in the background that looks like one of Doom's castles and various other little hints and stuff they said they've been sprinkling in. So if it is a Doom movie, I would kind of be surprised.
I would be too. Because then you're doing a Doom with pre-Fantastic Four.
Right. And like, would you imagine... Like, I can't imagine him saying, I'm going to do Doctor Doom means that he is Doctor Doom. But some people have been speculating that's what that means.
Oh, if that's the case, that is the weirdest
so
choice.
Random.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
if he's the voice of Doombot.
Right. But that's even when I was thinking maybe it's like an animated thing.
Yeah.
And like he would be like a fun voice casting, but he sounds so specific. I just can't imagine it. I could imagine it easier being like in Luke Cage when they had like Method Man and like Big Boy on a radio show talking about what Luke Cage is doing.
That's what I wonder if that's the case. I wonder if that's the case where he's actually playing Howard Stern.
Right. But that makes more sense to me.
Either way, that was random, but also the fact that a hot mic on an ad, come on, bro. You've been a professional how long and you forgot?
Right. Now, I don't know if that would be him in charge of that, but I am curious if somebody got reprimanded for leaving the mics hot.
Because I think it came out recently, like, if there's like a part in the contract of Marvel stuff, if anything is said by any of the cast members and stuff, they will get sued by Marvel and Disney.
Fines and shit.
There's like fines, there is monetary punishment, there is...
I always wonder how that works when the like Avengers cast gives shit away. Like I'm sure like some of that stuff they pre-plan,
Yeah,
especially
no,
now with Tom
stuff is
Holland. He
pretty
kept doing it.
right, but there's stuff like if you accidentally do say something, you will get fined. They're not going to
Well,
advertise, oh, they were fined, but they're like, no, no, there's going to be punishment afterwards because
like
that's a
I'm wondering
reveal.
about when Ragnarok came out and
Mm,
like Mark Ruffalo put his phone on and uploaded like the first 15 minutes of audio to his Instagram live or something from his
right,
pocket.
right.
Like now I heard like he was freaking out and everybody thought he was going to get in hella trouble and Kevin Feige was like, I loved it. It was genius.
Yeah,
Or something like that, 'cause it was just audio
right,
and it made everybody like freak out and tune in.
right.
But I do wonder like stuff like that, like big ass leaks, how do they deal with that?
I reckon, yeah,
Um,
I definitely feel like people will get fined and yeah, for that stuff. I mean, it makes sense. It's like part of your contract that you can't say
mhm.
anything. So if you say something, especially at an online capacity, at social media capacity, that's no good. All right.
Also, it's not on our list, but I did see that there was some more casting on the Madam Web movie.
Sure.
But I didn't see. I don't remember who it was now. It was like Emma Roberts or something like that.
Okay. Well, I mean,
They
like,
just keep adding like young white women.
dude, all right. Sony, why? I mean, Craven's finished filming.
Right. Yeah. Oh, did we mention that last time?
No.
Yeah, I think we did. Didn't
Did
we? We
we? I
talked
don't.
about the like
I don't know.
activist thing.
I didn't.
Maybe we didn't. Okay, so I guess they've released some information about the Craven movie. They finished it.
Okay.
That it's gonna be Craven is like he's a hunter as well, but he's like a environmental activist and conservationist or something, so they can he can have some sort of anti-hero shit going on. And I hate it. I wish that they could just let their villains be villains and stop complicating
I
everything. And
wish
it
that they
was
could
Emma
just
Roberts.
stop. All
Just
right.
just work the deal out with Marvel and stop complicating things.
Just focus on your animation stuff,
Right. That's where you guys
please.
excel, clearly.
That's where you've won awards and people
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
All right. Next thing.
Next up, they're so I guess the producers of Deadpool were talking about the upcoming Deadpool movie and some scrapped storyline stuff from the Deadpool movie, Deadpool 3 that they were going to do when Fox still owned it.
Hmm.
And I guess the plan that they had in place was doing a road trip buddy movie with him and Wolverine. And so they were asked about the casting on the MCU Wolverine, and they said, we don't know anything yet as far as what they're doing, but even if we did, we wouldn't say.
Right.
But as far as they have heard, nobody has been cast or whatever for
Okay.
Wolverine
But
yet.
they're definitely doing auditions, I'd imagine.
They have to be looking. And again,
Yeah.
I don't know how much they would even be kept up to speed on that stuff until it's the green light is on. But I feel like they got to be keeping the Wolverine shit real fucking close to the vest. I mean, we didn't know for sure. I mean, they hinted at stuff, but we didn't know for sure about the Krasinski Reed Richards thing until day of. They somehow kept that shit out of the press, which is bananas to
Have you
me.
rewatched Doctor Strange? Now that it's
I've
on.
not yet. I want to, but I've
I
not yet
I want to
watched it
set
again.
aside actual time because there's so much going on in the house. Like when I got my nephews here and stuff during the day, so the only time I can
Right.
watch it is like during the evening. But then, I gotta find that time. But I want to like sit in the living room like with my headphones on and
hmm
just rewatch that thing.
I was gonna
'Cause-
say I want to watch it at my desk. I don't want to watch it on a TV because I want it right in front of me so I can look at all the details and shit I missed
Okay.
on the big screen.
I just know I want
Um,
I want the headphones on because
yeah, I gotta hear that
yeah, yeah.
with the boom.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess they haven't made any moves on this yet. I hope that when they finally do, he's short. Do you think they would ever do like, okay, we're gonna do a variant of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine like we did with the Xavier, and then like CG him as a short, like comic accurate Wolverine?
Oh, I would laugh a lot. And it would,
Because
you
like
know
they
what?
do all the
It
like
would
CG
be,
suits now.
it'd be silly as
It would. Do you imagine how weird it would look? Like if you walked up next to anyone and he's suddenly 5'2", you'd be like, I get it
But
and
it's
I
but
appreciate
it's
it,
it's
but
more
that
work than
looks
it's
weird.
more work than just shrinking him. You have to like
Right.
really format his proportions. It's
Right.
gonna
You have to like
but
hire a
you've got Hugh
short
Jackman face.
bodybuilder. Right.
Just get a new guy. Get a shorter guy. By the way, he doesn't have to be Wolverine comic accurate short like what 5'3". He
Yeah.
could be, I don't know, even 5'10". Will do.
I mean,
Just shorter
anything in
than
the right
shorter
direction.
than all of the other guys. How about that?
Right. Because Jackman is like 6'4" or
Yeah,
something.
6'4",
He's a
6'3".
big boy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
So that could have happened, almost happened, and might happen soon.
I am curious to see that. Like, if that's not going to happen, what is the plot now going to be for Deadpool 3? Either way,
It's gotta be wild now because they're finally in MCU proper, and that was one of the other things they mentioned of this Wolverine shit is they said that the fact that they are in the MCU now is being fully utilized. They said that they've found uh, a lot of gold positives as far as
oh,
what that means for the possibilities of the
on it.
character. So can't wait.
At this point, how could it be a negative?
Exactly. Also, I heard as far as Doctor Strange, I heard that they cut out a Deadpool post credit thing.
Easter egg? Oh,
Yeah, he was just supposed to show up as a post credit thing in the same like silly vein as the Pizza Papa thing. But also I heard that there was a cut scene, and I guess they make reference to it in the one of the posters that got released. It was like that up to the wire that they cut it out. But Baron Mordo from 616 was supposed to be in the movie. We weren't only supposed to see the 838 version.
that's what I
We're
figured.
supposed to see the 616 version was supposed to go after Wanda at the beginning of the movie,
Oh,
off of his like all the sorcerers have to
yeah,
go
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
And
yeah.
he was said to have a sword on his back and have a limp because he's been fighting other sorcerers and shit. And
That's
I
tight.
guess we were supposed to see him like show up to face Wanda, and then the Doctor Strange thing happens where he goes to her farm or whatever. He sees her on the apple orchard or whatever the fuck. Supposedly she was going to present Doctor Strange in that flip when everything gets all dark.
Uh-huh.
She was gonna present him with the severed head of Mordo.
Oh, dark. Much?
Yeah. So I was like, wow, I wish that would have happened. That's
But
some
if that
crazy
happened,
shit.
you've just killed Mordo.
Yes, but I think that's why they decided against it. But that was supposed to be
Oof.
the end for 616 Mordo as he met Wanda, and that was the sorcerer too buff.
I'm kind of glad that didn't happen.
I'm kind of glad because they can address that later if they want.
Yeah.
That they've not closed the door.
Yeah.
However, that would have been pretty fucking
Oh,
badass of
that would have been
Wanda.
what a way to start the film.
Yeah, exactly. And it would have been at least buttoning up what happened to Mordo because they
Yes.
didn't even touch on
That's
what
right.
happened
Yeah,
to
yeah.
616 Mordo.
Right. Like Mordo appeared, but not our, not the
Not
MCU
ours,
Mordo.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, that's dark.
Yeah.
That's dark.
And
Last thing we could talk about.
last thing, Ms. Marvel episode 4. Still loving it.
I am still. This is really fun.
Yeah, I just think it's got a really great energy.
It really does.
I heard it's like the lowest rated show as far as
What?
like the actual viewership.
I don't get. I'm legit not understanding that. At this
I
point.
largely I think that has to do with the fact that they debuted it on
Oh,
the
yeah,
same
yeah,
night as
yeah.
Kenobi.
Now that that's not on though,
And
it could pick up.
it might pick up a bit, but I do feel like they kind of fucked it a little bit by putting it out on the same night, literally at the same time.
Yep, that was weird. That was a
And
weird move, by the way.
it's the only time they've
Yeah.
done that where they
Yeah.
put out two shows at once that way.
Normally,
So
it's
I
like
feel
a day apart. Even like if it was a day apart, it would have worked better.
seriously, put
Yeah.
one out Tuesday, one out Wednesday, it's some type of shit like that. I feel like it would have done
Like,
wonders for it.
especially because it's not set schedule. It's your literal streaming platform. You could do that. Ms. Marvel on Ms. Marvel Monday.
There you go. There you go. We wrote it. I do feel like some people prejudged this one though.
100%.
Just because like I know I wasn't expecting much out of it because it seemed like a very kiddish presentation in the trailers. However, I've really, really enjoyed it. I feel like the tone is refreshing. It's kind of similar to the tone of what like Homecoming was like, with a little bit of Scott Pilgrim-y stuff mixed in and whatnot. It's just it
And
really
turning
works.
red, like you said.
And turning red.
Yeah.
And I feel like in this most recent episode, they kind of explained away the one thing I didn't like that they had done so far, which was change up her origin and say she's a djinn. And then in the episode 4, they basically said, well, that's what they called us, but that's what they'd call whatever that showed up, and they don't understand it from this
Exactly.
particular area.
They mentioned Thor,
So-
right? How it's like if Thor
Exactly.
landed there, he'd be one of them too, but
Yeah.
he didn't. I was like,
It's just
"Oh,
we didn't
yeah."
have another thing to call that.
Yeah, I was
so
like, that's cool.
what we
I
called
like
it.
that. It was just something that it's alien to them, so they called
Exactly.
it that. Yeah.
And so I wonder if by the end there's going to be that reveal that we've kind of already talked about with the last episode, the blue skin guy. If there's going to be some kind of like, oh well, the Jinn are actually Kree, and the bands take you to the negative zone or something like that, because the area they showed kind of could be negative zone-y. The like area that they showed her, like I think it was episode 1 or 2, where she like goes upside down and then suddenly she's in like a purple area with a bunch of dudes with their eyes lit up red.
See, my thing about that is like, in this episode, how they kind of showed how a world, the universe, it's like a parallel, right? A parallel universe. So it's a world that exists within it's a parallel. Could it be because of the whole 10 rings thing on the previous one? It's definitely linked more towards the whole, even Shang-Chi's bands.
Right.
How? Because remember
They
how
have some sort of alien origin that they weren't familiar with.
but not exactly, because it's like, because even like Captain Marvel is like, yeah, we don't know what that is. It's like, because
I've never
it's not
seen those markings.
it's not from our universe. While the universe is gigantic with aliens and whatnot, it's literally from another universe, and that's why like that's why I don't think they're from space per se, but they're just from an alternate. And that's like, how, and she can use it, right? Because she's from technically both worlds. Shang-Chi can harness it because he's from both also.
Ooh, I like that.
That's why I was like, the rings are important. Like the reason why he could use it is because remember, his mom is from the other universe, but his dad's from the other universe.
Right. I guess they never clarified.
Right, whether the mom was too.
Right.
But I think the mom was from ours. Because he's a child of both worlds, technically.
But did they ever say why his dad is immortal or whatever?
Oh wait,
I don't know if
the mom was from the other
clarified.
universe. The dad was from ours, but he got immortal because of the rings. It slowed down his aging.
Okay.
But that's what I mean. Like he's a child, like as she's a child of both. Technically, even it seems like in her case, the longer, the more the blood spreads, the more you can harness it. So it's almost like her grandkid could probably be even more powerful, or because the grandma can see visions, but doesn't necessarily use the bands. That's what I gathered. So does that mean the mom also has something, but she doesn't want to say?
She did show she got super speed when she packed up Bruno's lunch.
Right.
She was like, I'm gonna go get you some food. She literally was back in like
I know
seconds
that
or
was like a
something.
funny thing because I'm like, yeah, that seems like, households with like Asian moms and stuff. It's like, here you go. It's like, how'd you get this prepared? But I'm like, yeah, I don't know, it's cool. I'm liking this show. There's a lot of like cool questions that they're popping up, but I'm enjoying it. It's not more like with the questions that I come up with, that we come up with while watching. It's not like, it doesn't stop me in my tracks and makes me lose focus on what I'm actually watching. It's just like, oh, what's that about? But then the show still has me. You know what I mean? It's still.
And some of the changes I think have been interesting, like the Red Dagger character. They made it like an organization, and in
As
the
opposed to a
books,
dude?
it's just one guy. The kid that she fights. That's the only Red Dagger in the book.
I like that it's like a
and-
lineage.
Yeah, and he's like a Pakistani vigilante that she meets in New Jersey. But in
Oh.
this, they had her go to Pakistan and meet him, and he is like a whole Foot Clan of dudes.
I think it's
Although
cool.
we only saw 2 of them.
But
right?
I think that's why it is like the Jedi in a sense, where it's like master apprentice.
Okay.
That's what I'm
I was
imagining.
wondering.
Because there is
if
only
that's
2
the
of them.
case, they got rid of the master real quick.
Well, he helped him out. Unfortunately,
He did some dope. Did some dope fighting.
Dude,
He
the fighting in this episode was cool. I gotta say,
really liked that
I was
character.
like, this was cool. This episode was good.
Yeah, it was only weird to me that he like turned around to help them and threw a couple daggers or whatever, but then was just like, "Well, I know I'm fighting someone. I'm gonna throw these daggers and not protect myself, so that I can get Obi-Wan off this balcony."
Yeah.
And
he
then
definitely,
fucking
yeah.
and then he just didn't even go like, we should check him and check his pulse or see if he's alive. He was like, he's gone, let's go.
Yeah, he's gone. Trust me, he
Gave up on
wasn't
his master
moving.
real
He wasn't moving. He died. Did you not see?
Yeah, so I don't know if it's gonna be some Obi-Wan type shit where people just get stabbed and then come back a few scenes later. Like, I was too angry to die.
I gotta say though, from her perspective, that must suck. It's like, all right, the previous episodes, you meet a whole group of people, and they're like, "Hey, we know what it's about. We consider us your family." And then all of a sudden, here it's the same thing. We know what this is about. I'm like, how are you so trusting?
Exactly. Right after that happened, I'd be questioning everybody.
dude.
And she's like, I fought you first, so we're good to go.
The only one I would trust is literally my grandma, because she seems to know
Exactly.
something. You
And
know?
grandma's also like, hey, you go do whatever you want. We'll
Yeah.
just stay with your cousins.
I know. I'm
I
like,
don't- you know,
like, are you hiding stuff from her mum, your daughter? This is bonkers. Bonkers.
it is. It's crazy, but I guess she's used to her mom not being down with her alien stories and shit. So she's just like, yeah, I'll
I think that's why.
I'll be lookout while you go do
Yeah.
whatever.
But the ending though was interesting. I was like, all right, the gate opened, you fell essentially in, and now you're in the past.
That was strange to me as well, because the way that they depicted the thing opening looked similar to end of Doctor Strange 2 when Charlize Theron shows up and starts cutting the background away and it's purple and shit. It looked very similar to that, but it just kind of tore behind her, almost like America's shit, but it was just like screen cut.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that intentionally to look like that? But it's
I
also
think
confusing because it's being used for like time travel.
Yeah. I think it's just like, I know maybe that's just used for anything. Like, that's why I'm like, is she physically there? Is it a vision that she's having?
I'm wondering that as well, because if she's there, then I'm like, okay, so the foreshadowing about her grandma seeing a trail of stars and that
Was that
taking
her?
home. That's what I'm thinking, is that was Kamala now. But originally I was like, oh, that was her great grandma or whatever. She has the other band and she did it. But I was like, if Kamala got sent back in time, maybe she's the one who lights the sky up or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if she did it and she's literally creating this like weird paradox where she helped her own grandma and great grandma escape, then they've been kind of Chekhov's gunning this whole time with the other power band thing. And I'm like, I want to know what's going on with that.
Yeah.
So
I hope that's not
hope
the
this
case.
is not 6 episodes,
Dude,
bro, because I don't know
It
how the
is
fuck
6
they're wrapping
episodes.
this
They
up.
say 6 episodes.
Where did you see
It said it
that,
on a
though?
Wikipedia. Although Wikipedia is never, that's not the main source of things. But
Right.
if it's 6 episodes, they got to wrap this thing up like nicely. What? Not in a way nicely, because you have to remember this does go into the Marvels. But she's got to have her suit eventually.
Well, she got the mask, and in the episode we just watched, they give her
Those
blue
threads.
fabric.
Yeah,
so
those
she can
those
always
threads,
remember.
right?
So at some
Where it's like
point, she's gonna bring that home.
history, like this fabric has history in it, where it's like it remembers everything or something.
All right.
I don't know what that means.
Do you think there's gonna be anything to the Bruno going to what was it, Caltech or whatever the fuck?
I don't know. I wonder.
Because they set up him leaving to go be like super scientist boy, and I wonder if they're ever gonna bring, if they're gonna make that into something. He's gonna be fucking Iron Lad or some shit.
It'd be cool because he seems incredibly smart.
Out of nowhere, he's like,
Yeah.
I can do cosplay shit, and I can tell where your powers are coming from.
Yeah, it's like, check my iPad. Look at this.
Right.
It's coming
I'm a
from
plot
your
genius.
core. Yeah.
Oh shit! Episode 5 comes out on the 6th. Oh snap! So we got episode 4 is on the 29th. Episode 5 is on the 6th. I don't even see a listing for episode 6.
Maybe there's only 5 episodes.
I want there to be 8 episodes. But at the same time, they've done so much in such a short amount of time. Even just like popping her over to Pakistan by episode 4, I'm like, wow. I really didn't think we were getting out of New Jersey.
It also felt, it didn't feel abrupt to me. It felt like
it only didn't because, or for me, it only didn't because the whole family went.
Well, him and the mum. It's just her and the mum.
Oh, I thought she brought more people.
It's her and the mum.
Okay, well, she was like, your grandma's old, and she insisted we go to Pakistan right away. So I was like, the fact that she's going with her family, okay. But if she would have went completely by herself, suddenly the next day she's on a plane to Pakistan, I'm like, where the fuck did that
It was
come
only with
from?
the
That's
mum.
random as
It's like,
shit.
yeah, grandma said for us to come because she's getting old.
So I'm very curious how they're gonna do it, because that means there's only 2 episodes left. They've got to get her in the suit, and then they've got to have something that gets her ready for a movie with Captain Marvel and
Monica.
And Monica. Do you think she meets Monica by the end of this?
That'd be the nice transition, because Monica's still Earth based.
Right. Although at the end of WandaVision, she meets the Skrull homie that's time to go
That's
up.
That's true. I don't know, man. It's fun though. I'm enjoying where this is going, and I'm curious to see. Again, I hope it's not the time paradox thing where I'm actually the one that saved my grandma, that brought my grandma to to her
Right.
her daddy.
It makes her power bands thing have even more indescribable power. Like, I just don't understand what the power level of these bands are. What do they actually do? Because she stabbed it, and that sent her back in time.
Yep.
But normally, it just lets her use this light power manifest from herself.
They did mention the writing on the band, how it wasn't there before.
Or at least the Red Dagger guy had never heard any speculation about there being writing.
Right.
And it was just like the Hallmark card, like, what you seek is within you.
Trademark Hallmark.
Right. So I don't know. I'm hopeful. That it ends up good, because so far I'm loving everything. Just, land on your feet, because everybody talks shit about how these things end.
Mm-hmm.
Which I've not really had an issue with almost any of the endings. Maybe Falcon and the Winter Soldier ended in a little bit of a wet fart with the I'm going to give a speech in front of the news people.
Yep.
And suddenly John Walker is going to help us.
Yep.
Even though we set him up to be a murdering psycho.
It's, to be honest, he had PTSD. He's going through,
which they've got some explaining.
Yeah. He's going through some things. Like, you can't just say he's a murderer psycho. It's like, he's also been through a lot, and
right. And he was only murderous because they murdered
Yes.
his Bucky.
Absolutely. Like, again, as a soldier, they're the enemy. He just took the enemy down. Mind you, brutally in front of people, but he's also been a soldier where he had to do that.
The enemy was unarmed and he decapitated him with an American iconic weapon. But
again, PTSD.
PTSD, yeah. He's been through some stuff.
He's gone through quite a bit. So,
all right. Well, I think that wraps up this episode. Hopefully, we can round up a bunch more stuff to talk about again, because it'd be nice to record a couple of these in the can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that was a good amount for this episode.
It was, actually.
The next one, guys. Stay chipper, chaps.
Stay chipper.
What up, Chip and Chap? This is Chip and Chap Chat.